right now we want to do some filtering. So this is a little bit tricky, but if you stick to it, you guys going to understand it. Yeah. So to make it a lot easier and funny, I'm just gonna uh, only remind. I'm just gonna leave that select tag, and I want to start from completely scratch. Yeah, because this, as I've said, this is a little bit the tricky part. Right now, if I will refresh, as you can see, I don't think if you're going to find anything. As you can see, nothing it is there. So, uh, but as you know, we want when our page is mounted at the first place, we want to have all the category, right? No matter what. So, so our first option here, it should have the value of all, because that what we want it to have, right? So I'm just gonna create option tag here, option, and hit enter, and the value for it, I want it to be all, and based on that condition, we are going to get all the data. So I'm just gonna say it has to be all what? It has to say all category, all categories, like that. So if we now open, uh, as you can see, um, now we have that, we have only that option, right? uh, so let us create a condition for that. We want to create a variable first, uh, that will say that uh, if category is equal to all, I think we have to create a two variable here. We have to create two variables. So one, I'm going to use use state for that. So I'm going to use a use state snippet, uh, like that, and I'm just gonna say, uh, let's say selected cut, something like that. Uh, this one, it has to be capital letter, as you know, selected cut, like that. So all I want, as I've said, if it is equal to all, I want to get all the data here. I want to say if the value is equal to all, we have to get all the posts. Otherwise, we have to get a specific according to the category that we have specified. So let me create a variable, because it will going to change. I'm just going to use let, and I'm just going to say filtered, uh, let's say filtered post, and and I'm going to say if selected category is equal to all, yeah, which it is as default, I want to get all the posts. So I'm just going to say uh, I want this variable, which I call here filtered post, to have this value. Otherwise, I want to do filtering according to uh, the category that is here, right? But we want first to get all those categories from our data here. So I want to loop on this thing here and get all category. Uh, so as I said, this is a little bit tricky, and you need to pay attention. To prevent this error, for now, let me put null, and I'll come back. Uh, uh, so instead of me use this thing here, I'm just gonna say I wanted filtered post. If I will write here filtered post, I'm just gonna get the same result. Let me refresh. As you can see, we still get all the result because our category is equal uh, to all as we have specified here. So if I will change, I'm just gonna get an error because for now I put null, uh, and we cannot get null, right? We cannot map on null thing. As you can see, we cannot uh, read the property of null. Means our condition is working. So, but for now, I'm just gonna get all the data by just doing that. As you can see, I get all. So how I'm going to get this category? Let me undo. How I'm going to get this category from our data here. To do that, I'm just gonna use set. So I'm just gonna create a variable here, const, and I'm just gonna say, let's say filtered filtered cut like that, and because we're gonna have more than one category, I'm just gonna create an array for that. So, and as I've said, I'm just gonna use new set. What? Just gonna use set. So to be able to see what the results that we are getting out of this set, I'll have to console here. Console.log filtered cut. Let us first try to console log here to see what we get. Let me refresh. We are getting an array, as you can see, but there is nothing in there. So let us try to put anything here. Let's say technology. Let's say our category is technology. Look what happened if we do that. So all it does, it separates each character, right? And it return an object, but we don't want it to do that. We want to create an array, not an object. So for that, we have to use the spread operator so that it return an array. Let's have a look right now what we are getting. As you can see, we are getting an array according to our specified string here. So what I'm going to do with this set, first, because I want to get something similar, I want to get a list of category according to what I have. If technologies, programming, science, whatever category that I will be having on the post. So for that, I will have to map through all of these lists and get all the category that is available. So let us go ahead and do that. So we're gonna map on here. So what I'm going to say, from the post, I'm just gonna map, and I'm just gonna get post, single post, right? But what do we want? We want category, right? So I'm just gonna say return to me post dot category, right? That what we want. So we omit curly braces, and that's why we put that, so that we are getting. So now I think if we'll go ahead and refresh, uh, as you can see, have a look, we are getting all the category. So we're getting specific category here, and we have to put, we want to pass it here, right? And we're getting this warning that every post should be unique. And so let me go ahead first and remove that error here uh, by passing the key. Since on the post there is a unique ID, I'm just gonna pass that. I think that error will be gone. Uh, have a look right now. Even if we will add another category here, it will get filtered dynamically, and that's why we need it here. So if I'll go here on our DB, and let's say we have another category of, uh, let's say electronics, and all of that, we're gonna get that thing. Let me refresh. So as you can see, no matter how many categories that will be having on the post, we're gonna it's gonna get filtered. So and what we remind, so what it is remind here uh, is uh, is to map through that category and put it here. So I'm just gonna say option. So I think you guys understood at some point. Uh, so all we have to do, we want to map from that filtered category. So we want to map filtered category dot map. Let's get two things. Let's get cat, also index, because I want to pass them to remove that warning as well. So I'm just gonna, what we are going to return here, we're going to return option tag, as you know, uh, and and the value for it, it's going to be a cart. uh, yep. Let us see right now. So what we did here, we filtered from that array that we are getting from here. Let me refresh. So if I'll go right now, have a look. We have the first one, which was dynamic, which was static, does not change no matter what. But we have category here. That sound amazing, right? So what it is remind here, we still have a lot to do, guys. Bear with me, guys. This is hard part to explain, but also needs you to pay so much attention for you to understand it very well. Uh, so right now we want to put event listener on our select tag. Here on our select tag, we want to put event listener, and on any change of the category, we want to get that, right? So what we're going to do, I'm just going to say on change. I'm just going to say on change. We want to listen to every change here. So let's for now let's say handle category. Let me call that handle category. So let me go here and create that function here. Const const handle category. Let me use that function here, and we want to say that if there is any changes here on the select tag, uh, change this category here to that category that user has passed. So here we expect to have something. We expect to have to get category, right? So we want to say set dot cut according to the category that user have chosen. I think that makes sense, right? So let's try to console it out if we will going to get any value according to what we have changed. Let's say selected category. Let's go on our browser and see. By default is equal to all, as you see, and if we change uh, we want to get a specific category, right? So so here we have to pass something. So in order for us to pass something, let us call it handle category. Let us put it that way, handle category, and say event.target dot value. So that is how to get a specific category to change. Yeah. So let me try to see if we're going to get a certain category. Yeah, okay. I know what's the problem. As you can see, we are getting an error because of that thing that we have said. If category is not equal to so actually it is changing. As you can see, it gives us this result here, and the error that we are getting because of this null here, that what we get. Uh, so how we are going to filter uh, according to a specific category that we have. So to do that, it is pretty simple, and we are going to use a filter function. So we want to filter the post according to our specified category, right? So and for that, we first need to map to get all category. So let us first do that. So we are going to get a post, right? And as we filter, and we need to get all the categories here. And we want to say filter all the category that is equal to our selected category right now. I think we're going to get only selected category. Okay, so let us first see if if this thing works as we expected. So we say if it is technology, we want to get only technology. If we have electronics, we want to get electronics. If we have programming, yeah, this sound amazing right now. So let me wrap it here uh, on our filter. We need to filter, right? How we need to filter it? We need to filter according to the category. So we map uh, onto our data, and we get all the category here, and we are saying that if they are the same, if this condition is true, get those data, as you can see in this, and this is what is happening here. So I think with that explanation, I think it is a little bit hard, not only to swallow but also to explain as well. But I tried all my best to make sure that you guys understand. Let me know if you guys understand that concept, which I find a little bit challenging, and we have to remove this warning by passing a key. Uh, so on every option, let me first format so that I can easily do my stuff here. So I'm just gonna say I have to pass a key here, uh, which is index, as you can see there. So if now I will go ahead and refresh, I'm not gonna get any error, and by default uh, it is on. But if we change, if it is equal to technology, we are getting everything as we expected. So this is amazing, guys. So until now, our full blog page has completed. As you can see, we are able to filter, we are able to get the post according to our wish, right? uh, but now we want to add complexity to this app, uh, not to be as simple as it is right now. uh, we need to get this data from our real database, right? But for this one, we're going to make mock API. So to create that mock API, we want to install JSON server. So type there JSON server. Uh, so to install mock API, all we need is to copy this command here, npm.i JSON server. So I'm just gonna, here is where uh, my destination to my project, as you can see, and I'm just gonna hit enter to install this API. To use it, it is pretty simple. Okay, so let us see how to use it. To use it, it is pretty simple. You you need to first change the format. It need to be what? It need to be an object, as you see, and your folder has to be .json. So first, I'm just gonna change my folder name, and I'm just gonna call it JSON. So let me first hide it like that, and making that syntax according to how I wish it. But I think there is also extended tools you can use to change this data quickly. You can try to Google it. You can easily do that as well. So JSON format, it is just like this, and here is your table. For a table, uh, we call it post, as you see, and you pass that array here. So we pass this array right now. Let me pass it there. Let me even cut it. So we kind of have the same thing, but we have to change the format. We have to say the format has to be JSON. Yeah, as you can see, even the icon has changed already. But also, look, we have red line. Also, we need to change all of this thing here as well. Need to be string. All these things which are red. So for simplicity, I'm gonna go ahead on my commit because I already created that from here. To save time, I'll just gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna get it from this one here. Is where I'm going to get uh, as you can see, uh, this is the commit that I've made so far. Let me return. I need to get list of arrays here. Going to that commit, I think you'll be able to get all of our posts. As you can see, you're gonna get a lot of these posts. You don't have to copy all of them, but you can have like 6 to 7. So I think 7 is enough for demonstration. So instead of me pasting it here like that, I'm just gonna paste them. So as you can see, it removes those errors. So I'm just gonna remove things like just gonna remove everything. Let's see if our package that we have installed it is here, JSON server, as you see. So it is there. To run JSON server, it is pretty simple. All you need, you can write. Let me write a script for it. So let me write it here, and I'm just gonna call it. And I'm just gonna call it mock API. That's the name of my script. So you have to pass the command here. So let me first remove the error by putting that comma there. You need to pass the command that will run this JSON server. Maybe they showed that command here. I don't have to paste it myself. This is the command, but I don't want this one here. Let me say how to use JSON server. How to use JSON. How to use JSON server. You can go ahead on Google. You can literally able to see it. Even this freecode.org, it is fine, but also you can even get from here as well. I think this command here that you see, we don't have to check it, and let me copy it for simplicity. So you can go ahead and paste it here, and I'll explain a little bit about it. Yeah, because I didn't want to hard code it. So all you need to press you need first to call uh, your library as you see there with the same name. So you have to pass this parameter watch. Then what we want to watch, you have to specify according to the pass. For me, uh, I have said go inside the source folder dot API, I mean forward slash API, and then I called my folder there db.json. And another parameter that you can specify is the port, in which port you want your server to run. I recommend you guys to start from 4,000 or 5,000 and above, so that to avoid any conflict with Reactor, because they are running on 3,000 port. So right now, have a look. You can see we start getting an error. So let us see how to fix that error, because we're not because our folder is no longer as it is before. So let me remove all unnecessary things here. As you can see, I have to remove that thing. uh, yeah, where I have to go here on my app, because here it is where I have exported everything. So in here, all I have to say that our use state for now has to be empty, right? uh, and let me first be sure that my JSON server is up and running on local 4000, on localhost 4000. So I'm just gonna go ahead and be sure about that. As you can see, nothing there, because we only installed it, but we didn't run it. So to run it, you have to say npm run. You want to run which script? Mock API, according to what I have named there. This is how to run with npm, but you can also run it with the npx, uh, as they have shown here on their documentary. uh, I think they use npx to run it globally. So let us refresh right now to see if we're gonna get any data. Let us see. We get an error. Let me let me first close it and run it again. Mm, let me run it. npm run mock API. Let's see how we can fix this error, if there is. I think our app is working fine, and all we have to do, we have to go on forward slash host, because that is our endpoint. So it kind of creates the endpoint. As you can see, this is our endpoint. Yeah, and we get all our data here. I think I messed up when I was saying 4,000, and without specifying the endpoint, it messed up. uh, and that's what it did happen there. Yeah, because it does not know that route. uh, we only have one endpoint as you have been specified here, uh, and that route is according to this thing here. This is kind of like route, uh, as you can see. This table here represent a route, so if you guys don't know about that, so I think we are fine. Our server is up and running, but I was messed up. As you can see, if you have right, if you'll go onto the appropriate endpoint, you can see that you are getting data, and your app, I think it's already there, it's not broken. uh, but let me run it again. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to get all of this data, and here on our app component, we want to get all of this data uh, when our page is firstly mounted on our app, right? So that we should not get any error like this one here and all of that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just gonna say uh, I want to fetch all the data, right? So I'm just gonna create a function here and say fetch. Of course, I'm just gonna use common case for that, fetch post. Let me say that because it make a lot of sense to me to call that. So I'm just gonna say now I'm just gonna use fetch here. uh, we're gonna have response, or we're gonna have posts data like that once we fetch. So, and here it should be a synchronous function, so that I can use a wait keyword. So I'm just gonna pass here fetch function. I'm not gonna use like sad library like actions and all of that, and we have to specify our endpoint here. We want to specify our endpoint here, and paste it here like that. uh, and we want to change them into JSON format. So whatever data that we are going to get, we're gonna make it as JSON like that. So I think now if I will console log from here, if I'll console log post data, we should get something, but for now we'll not get anything because we didn't call this function when our first when our app is mounted for the first time. So even if I will say console log here, nothing we are going to get if we will inspect. Yeah, as I've said, we need to call this the function. To we need to call where. So as I've said, we need to call our function, and for that we have to use a use effect. Yeah, since use effect run when our app is fastly mounted, and we have to pass empty bracket here, so it only run once for the first time when our app is mounted, as I've said. So for now we can actually get nothing, but if we call our function here, fetch post, uh, at this time, like that, we're gonna get something. Let me refresh. As you can see, we get all our data. Yeah, and that the usefulness of use effect, if you guys don't know about that. Yeah, so if you have something that dynamically you want only to render the moment when so now, uh, instead of me console out, I want to say set post to be this thing, and our app, I think, should work as normal. Let me refresh. What, our app is in JSON, or is it, what's the, where the error is coming from? I don't get it. Everything I think is correctly. What is missing there? db dot missing colon. Where? At the end we have to put a colon, or this is weird, right? This is weird, right? Should we put a colon? Let me save and try to refresh again. Okay, maybe on my script I didn't specify that thing, or maybe there is kind of like, let me even restart my server because I don't really get what this thing mean. Yeah, I don't think if there is any error, but this ESLint suggests me that error, and my app is up and running. I wonder why. Let me see whether if there is serious issue here, or this compiler, this ESLint, which suggests us, which give us warning if there is any error and all of that. Uh, so let us see. So I'm gonna get back when everything is reloaded, because it takes a little bit of time. As you know, npm is a little bit slow than vit, and that's why people use vit in the development. But I don't suggest you guys as beginners to use vit, because you're gonna get a lot of this weirdness like this with vit. So maybe even when you want to start production ready application, you can go ahead and use vit, but I don't suggest you guys to use vit. Yeah, because you're gonna get a lot of confusion with the ESLint. Yeah, since and there is a lot of thing, little bit not complicated configuration, but you have to do some little bit of configuration for you to be able to start working on your project. But as I've said, vit is a little bit is fast, but it is still loading. So I'm just gonna go. I'm just so just gonna go back when it's done. Yeah, as you can see, there was nothing. There was no any problem. But the issue here uh, was that I should have to restart my server. Nothing an error, nothing fancy that was happening there, and everything works correctly, as you can see. So let's go a little bit extra mile and add a loading functionality, uh, so that a user will not gonna get an error uh, if uh, there is no data here, right? So, and for that we need to create a loader. So let me use state here, use state snippet to create that. I'm just gonna say is loading. That's how people call it most of the time. And at the beginning, our loading state has to be true. Yeah, because our at the beginning we are not having any data, right? And for good practice, you can add try catch block here. Yeah, because we are getting data from our database. So that if we have any error, I don't want user to get to console. For now, let's say console log error, so that a user, so that we can able to see as so to lift it up, highlight it like this, and click alt up arrow. Pretty simple, guys. You don't have to copy and paste things like that, and do things like that. As you can see right now, we don't have any error. For instance, if we, let's say, crash this thing here and try to get our data, have a look. We're not getting anything, but we, if I will inspect, if I will inspect, I think I'm just gonna get that error that we have connection error. That's what we mean there. So we want to say that if we don't get data from our database, uh, we have to render something. uh, Instead of me rendering this page here, as you see, I want to say something else. So, and I'm just going to put that condition here. So I'm just going to say if loading. If is loading means if this state is true, I want to return something else. Return any JSX here, like uh, data loading, and put like dot like that. So else, if it is false, we can fetch this data here. Click here to collapse it like that, and you need to copy it and paste here at the top. Format it like that and see what happens. Yeah, as for now, as you know, our loading is true, and that's why you only get this thing. We didn't style it, and that's why it looks weird. As you can see, maybe let us style it. Let me first put it on the fragment and use the flexbox to center it. So I'm just gonna say div, which let me give it a class name of loader, something like that, and I want to center it. So in here, I think should I create this component for the goodness? I think I have. Let me call it loader. Yeah, because this thing might be reusable, so you may use it in on different pages as well. So let us create a loader here. So I'm just going to say loader like that, and let me say like this: loader.jsx RFCE. I don't get any suggestion. I don't know why. Loader. Yeah, let me create a CSS file for it. Loader.css. I think we are good right now. I have to import it and do all my magic here. So I'm just gonna say ./loader dot css like that. So let us go ahead and style it from here. So I'm just gonna say loader. That is a class name for it. So to put everything which inside at the center, I'm just gonna use grid here. df, it is not complicated. dg. So I'm just gonna say loader. Everything which will be inside here, I want to put it at the center. So what I'm going to say, I'm just gonna say dg place item center, place items center. I think that is a lot easier. So instead of me, let me say something like loading here. Let me use h2 like loading. Let me say that loadings, loading, what loading, and all of that. Yeah, I have to mount it here. Let me go. Okay, let me know if I'm going a little bit fast. So if loading, I don't wanna return this thing, but instead I just want to have that component, which I call it loader. And since it has return, it does not have. I don't. Since it has returning keyword, I don't think if I don't have anything. Let me refresh. I get nothing. Should I return it? Let me go in our app. If loader return, let me say that. Maybe I should have to say return, but I was thought maybe it will be repetitive, and that's why I decided to ignore it. But I think you have to include the return keyword there. I thought it will be rendered, and that's why I wasn't include there. Maybe I could even give view height of like 40 VH, so that it is not uh, at the very top. As you can see, uh, I think we want to change. I think what the last thing that we have to do to complete this app, we want to say if we get our data successful here, I want the loading to be false. So set is loading, set is what? Is loading to be false if we get our data. We try to fetch our data. Once our data, which as you see, we try to fetch our data, and then once we get it, we set the post variable is equal to that. Since we get our data successful, and we set is loading is equal to false, means we want to return what? Let me close it, because we want to return this page here, as you can see, which is awesome. Let me see right now. We still get okay. We need to run our server, because our server is not, it's not running, and that's why our loading state is always true, because we didn't start running our server, as you can see. So let us go ahead and do that. I was wondering why we're not getting any data even if I try to reload. So for now, if I will try to reload, uh, as you can see, we have like loading. Yeah, so since it take a little bit short amount of time to fetch data from our database, uh, so uh, we can use like sat library to create a loader. I think it is called a React Spinner, which is pretty good. React Spinner, which is pretty good and easy to do. So let's go ahead and show you that. And there is even a lot of documentation about this thing here. I think these guys explain it in a very good way. Let's see it. Yeah, as I've said, right now we are about to add complexity to our page by looking into different concepts. There are so many spinners. I don't want this one. I don't want this one. There are so many spinners out there, but I think I want this one here, which is a lot easier to use. As you can see, all you need to install this sat library. I need to go on my project folder. Let me open up the terminal. As I've said, I like to install my app outside my Visual Studio Code, but if you prefer installing your app inside the Visual Studio Code, uh, it is absolute fine. So you need to copy it. You need to open up the terminal. Still loading. Yeah, and paste it like that and hit enter to install. uh, I want to go. There is certain documentation here which explains the thing in a very good way. I don't know if it is this one or not. Show different kind of spinners. Yeah, this guy here. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. You can create. You can see so many spinners. For me, I'm going to go ahead and choose this one here. You can see how it is so easy to use, guys. It is not so complicated to use it. Uh, to have this functionality, you need to open up the code. This is the code that you need to copy, and you have to import it from React Spinner. I think it is already installed. Yeah, as you can see. So all I have to do, I have to go to my Visual Studio Code, and here inside the loader, instead of me returning that h2, I want to return that thing. So let me paste it like that. I have to import it. Click control and space. You're gonna get a suggestion. That's what you need to create that loader. If we'll now go ahead, not here, if we'll go ahead on our app, as you can see, uh, to be able to control it in a very good way, let us say for now our loader by default is equal to false. What is equal to true? Our loader by default is equal to true, and we're not going to change it, so that we can able to control it in a very good way. Let us refresh. As you can see, uh, this is how it looks for now. Let us change the direction here. So I'm just gonna say, I think maybe I'm just gonna create like div, and I'm just gonna say loader underscore controller, and I'm just gonna say loader controller, something like that. Let me try to put inside the div and see if it will actually. Yeah, as you can see, it changes its state. So, and if you let's say want to make it at the center, you can go ahead and do that. uh, you have to, let's say, 100 view height. I think it will go at the very center. So at the very first time, when we don't have any data, this thing will load. As you can see, uh, you can choose any kind of loader that you wish to choose there, and this is how you have to do it. uh, so for now, let me go ahead and uh, and undo this thing. For now, I think it, our app will kind of load just a bit, as you can see. So I think For now, our app, as I've said, is good. It is actually good, but I've said, as I've said, we we are going to explore another other React concept, and the last concept that we're going to explore, uh, we are going to for now let us see or for now let us learn about React hook by changing by removing all of this mess here, and we create a separate file for this thing. uh, to start creating custom hook, all you need, I like to create a different folder for organization, and I'm just gonna call it hook. So uh, to create a hook, you need to first use lowercase and use that keyword use, which we have seen in many different scenarios, like use state, use effect. So if you want to create your own custom hook, you need to use this keyword use, and then you can give it any name that you wish to give. For me, I want to give it post, and you can let's say and you can end with JS or even JSX extension. I don't think if it is going to have any problem. Uh, and inside here, let me generate function uh, in which it will not going to return like JSS things, but it will going to return the logic. Uh, what the logic that it will going to return? It is going to return two things: loading state, which is loading, and all the posts. So this is what function that we are going to create here and export it here going to return. So how we're gonna get is loading. So I'm just gonna create here at the top, and let me say is loading for now. We're gonna change it. Uh, is what is loading, and for now let me say is equal to true. Let me ignore this thing for now and only return this thing here. What? I don't think if it is an error, but if I will go here inside my app, and I'm just gonna let me remove all of this thing here. Let me cut it like that, and instead I'm just gonna destructure from the hook the variable that I've created. So I'm just gonna get is loading from use post. As you can see, I've already get suggestion. uh, I have to import it like that, and let's see what's wrong here. Is it like not the same or what? Let me copy it. Let me try to paste it here as well, so that to make sure it is the same. And let me go here inside my hook, and paste it here as well. Maybe there is some spelling mistake and all of that, and that's why it gives me that error. So let us see right now if we're going to get any error. Let me refresh. Okay, we're getting an error from the post, right? Let's ignore it for now. As you can see, uh, we need to so as you can see, what we have to do here, all the logic that we was doing here, we could create a hook and do all that logic from there. So let me go ahead and do that. And okay, and I forgot one thing. I forget to paste all the logic there. So how I'm gonna get them? Let me simply creating them, because I don't think if it is complicated to do it from scratch. So I'm just gonna do that from scratch. So let me create a load use state snippet to create a loader, and I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna create is loading state. As always, it is true, like that. And uh, again, I am supposed to create a post, so I'm just gonna use state snippet as well to generate posts. Is at the beginning, it is empty, but once we fetch data, so I'm just gonna say fetch posts, like that. It should be a synchronous function, like that. We have to get our post, and we are going to use a wait keyword. Since it is a synchronous function, we're going to call it fetch function from from JavaScript, and we're gonna pass our URL, and we have to change it into JSON format. So we have to say res.json, like that. Let me go ahead and pass the URL as always. Okay, let me pass it there, and all we have said here, we want to set it is better for me to make this one capital letter, as you know. Set posts is equal to posts. So I think uh, loading state has to be false as always. So we set the loader to be false, as we have already getting the data. So I'm just gonna say false. So let me include it here on our returning as well. So if I will go right now here and say we can also get cost from there, we should be fine as well. Let us also remove everything here. As you can see, I don't think if we're now going to get any problem. We're going to get a problem because we want to call this function. Let's go. Let us go here. We're going to get the problem because we didn't run this function here yet, and we want to run this function uh, at the very first time when use state is being used. I mean, when our page is being mounted, as you know. So I have to pass here a callback function that we want to call it, and let me pass it here. Let me say we want to fetch post at the first place when this hook is mounted. So I think if we'll go right now, okay, we are getting an error because we didn't import use state here. So we have to import it here, use state. I think now we should be fine. Again, let me disable this use effect to show you that logic that I was wanted to tell you. We're not going to get any error, and since our loading state is equal to true, as you can see, will only render loading. So now our app is a lot better than before because our loader is equal to true right now. It is loading. Only if we uncomment this use effect, it's gonna run this function at the first time when the page is being mounted, or when this hook is being called, when we call it, where we call it here, we called it here. So at the very first time when this page is called, and then our app continues as normal. So with that said, I think we've learned so many concepts here. I think it is time for me to explore a little bit about I think it is time for me to explore a little bit about Git. I was wanted to do that earlier, but I feel like uh, it will be complicated for me to do that. Uh, since I do have a lot of things to explain, as you see, maybe from now on, uh, after you get here, uh, we will start using Git from now. But all I'm asking you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet. Yeah, because we do a lot of effort to create these kind of videos.